Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about family history and why it is so important to do. In April of 2006, my grandma passed away 2 days before her 90th birthday. She had been baptized, but she'd never been to the temple, and so she had never been sealed to her husband, my grandpa. She had let us know that she wanted to be sealed to him, and I knew I needed to wait 1 year to be able to have her work done in the temple. A couple of years passed, and I began having dreams about my grandma. In these dreams, she would talk to me and ask me when I was going to do her work for her. Eventually, my mom's cousin Marilyn called and asked if anyone was going to do Aunt Thelma's work. This was the motivation I needed to go ahead, get my temple recommend, so that I could then go through, do the work for her. Doing her work is one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever felt myself. And while I was in the temple, I knew she was there with me. I knew I was doing something for my grandparents that they couldn't do for themselves. My niece has described the feeling of doing baptisms for the dead as feeling super light, like she could float away. And this is actually how I felt when I was doing the work for my grandparents. I imagine that when I die, I'll have a reunion with my ancestors. This reunion can go one of two ways. The first would be that they'll come up to me with disappointment, asking me why I didn't do more to help them. I'm not going to have an answer. The other option would be that they come up to me with gratitude, thanking me for doing the things that I could do to help them so that they can now be sealed to their families and progress. Joseph Smith declared, "The greatest responsibility in this world that God has laid upon us is to seek after our dead." When we are seeking for them, we need to remember that we're searching for people, not just names. They lived, they had families, they had stories. And as we find them, we are preserving them. We're preserving their memories so that they can live on. We're doing something for them that they cannot do for themselves. Carol Brennan Moss in the June 2014 Ensign told us, "Today we can search over 3.5 billion records in databases containing actual images of records, add sources to individuals in our family trees, and directly process temple work on FamilySearch.org." That was 3 years ago. How many more billion records do we have access to now? President Ezra Taft Benson has taught, "The family is the most effective place to instill lasting values in its members." This is from the November 1982 Ensign. "Some of the most important efforts toward fulfilling the mission of the church will be those of parents who teach their children the doctrines and practice of the church by precept and example. Young parents who are fulfilling that responsibility ought not to feel guilty if they are not submitting as many group sheets or attending the temple as frequently as their parents who are retired." There are many different resources available to us as we begin or continue our family history research. If you're new to this, there is a religion course available through BYU Idaho. It's family history. In this course, you learn how to use a lot of the family history websites, as well as what is needed for proper documentation of the family history work that you have found. If you don't want to take this course, all of the websites do have detailed information as to videos, other help features that show us and can teach you how to use their website. There's, of course, FamilySearch.org through the church, FindMyPast.com, Ancestry.com, and MyHeritage.com. All three of these have the benefit of being free to us as a member of the church. We can get a free premium membership, whereas other people have to pay for the records that the church has worked out deals for us to be able to view for free. One thing that I love about FamilySearch.org is the fan chart. In the fan chart, you get the people and the dates that they lived, but you don't get all of the details about them. However, it shows you a much bigger summary. This is my mom's fan chart. It's filled in for the most part. There's a small gap over here, a little gap over here. She has been working on her family history since before I can remember, and she's found a lot of her ancestors. This is my fan chart. My mom's information over here is mostly filled in. My dad's information, on the other hand, there's a lot of gaps. Seeing it like this motivates me to continue doing the work that I need to do to find those people on my dad's side. President Thomas S. Monson told us the Lord expects you and me to perform our family history work well. We are going to make mistakes, but none of us can become an expert in family history work without first being a novice. Therefore, we must plunge into this work, and we must prepare for some uphill climbing. This is not an easy task, but the Lord has placed it upon you, and He has placed it upon me. We will make mistakes, but it is important to do the best that we can. Which reunion would you prefer when you die? The one where your ancestor looks at you with disappointment and asks why you didn't do more? Or the one where your ancestor hugs you with gratitude, thanking you for doing everything you could? President Boyd K. Packer stated in the October 2010 Ensign, "No work is more of a protection to this church than temple work and the family history research that supports it. No work is more spiritually refining. No work we do gives us more power." I challenge each of you to find something that you can do to contribute to family history work. Will you go out on any of the websites and find people? You can go to the temple and perform the work for them that they can't do themselves. You can babysit for a friend or a neighbor so that they can go to the temple. You can upload pictures and stories of your ancestors to FamilySearch.org, preserving those memories. You can even just go out on FamilySearch.org and play out on the website. See what you can find. It can be a huge missionary tool. If you feel that a lot of your work is already done, you're stuck, you don't know what to do, help others to get started and do their work. Nobody is asked to do everything, but everybody is asked to do something. If we each do what we are capable of, our ancestors will greet us with gratitude and not disappointment. Thank you.